Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. So friends, in this video we will dive deeper into our discussion on the nodal axis. So friends, we already have talked about Rahu's placement in different zodiac signs, in different houses, also Rahu's dispositor as well. But when it comes down to if Rahu is conjunct with another planet, and a planet like Rahu, which is responsible for your future karma, for your desire, your ambition, we know this thing that Rahu generally operates on 4 levels. Like this could be magnification of the energies, this could be distortion of the energies, this could be acceleration, this could be ethical testing as well. So now comes the question, if you have Rahu placed in your chart and conjunct with any other planet, how the result will vary. That is what we will try to understand in this short and concise discussion. And also friends, I will add one more layer to this discussion, which is going to be about understanding that in which all scenarios Rahu is responsible for the fall, and in which all scenarios Rahu can actually give you success and success in the worldly affairs. So this is what this whole discussion is going to be about. And yes, let's switch to the narration part of this very important discussion on the shadow planet Rahu. Every soul is born unfinished, and the unfinished part of the soul is Rahu. You are not driven by Rahu because you are weak. You are driven by Rahu because your soul wants to evolve. Ketu shows what you have already mastered. Rahu shows what you are here to learn at any cost. This video is not about fear, friends. It is about understanding desire as destiny. Because all those thoughts which get instilled in your subconsciousness, which seems to be very unrealistic right now, where you are standing in your life, it might have something to do with Rahu. So I don't want you to just go to the section where if Rahu is conjunct with any specific planet in your chart and you just watch that section. I want you to stay till the end, because it will let you know that why Rahu creates obsession before wisdom, why success under Rahu feels hollow, why resisting Rahu delays liberation, and how Rahu literally scripts your next incarnation. So friends, the very first thing which you have to understand that what Rahu really is. So Rahu is not a planet. Rahu is a shadow point, a karmic intersection. That means no morality, no compassion, no inherent wisdom. Rahu is pure hunger. Jupiter teaches meaning, Saturn teaches consequences, and Rahu teaches experience. Rahu represents unfulfilled past life desires, incomplete experiences, areas where consciousness is immature. This is why Rahu never gives peace first. It gives intensity. Rahu can be seen as a future karma because the core principle which gets followed with nodal axis is Ketu represents past life exhaustion and Rahu represents the future life construction. That is the only reason, friends, like people who are in the influence or in the period of Rahu, major new development happens in their life. So whatever Rahu touches is being prepared for your next evolutionary stage. And that is why Rahu areas feel obsessive. You cannot let go easily. Logic fails. Even spirituality doesn't calm it at first. Rahu is not here to liberate you. It is here to force experience until wisdom emerges. So friends, the 4 laws of Rahu which I was talking about in the introduction. So the law 1 is magnification. We know that Rahu amplifies the planet it touches. So love can take up the shape of obsession. Ambition can take up the shape of addiction. Intelligence can take up the shape of manipulation. And faith can take up the shape of fanaticism. So there is no moderation with Rahu. When we talk about the distortion, so Rahu corrupts purity. Like sun can actually start acting like ego inflation. Moon can actually start acting like emotional instability. With Jupiter, false wisdom. With Venus, desire without fulfillment. So Rahu never gives clean results. It gives very mutated kind of growth. When we talk about the law 3 on which Rahu works, which is of the acceleration, so Rahu compresses the time like multiple lifetimes of karma in one life, slow lessons, instant consequences, and sudden rise, or this could be sudden fall as well. This is why Rahu natives live intense, fast, and at times unstable lives. And friends, the law 4 is of the ethical testing. So Rahu always creates shortcuts. You can have this, but will you compromise your dharma? Every compromise becomes future karmic debt. So friends, see, when we talk about I have talked about the universal laws. So the universal laws of Rahu conjunction, which we will soon start discussing, it's about, see, Rahu never creates, it hijacks, because what we will be talking about conjunction, right? So Rahu will not create anything on its own. I will also explain it to you, the principles on which we judge Rahu, like its dispositor. So that means Rahu never creates. The conjunction principle which gets applicable with Rahu is that it hijacks. Rahu has no qualities of its own. It works like a software virus running on another planet's operating system. Law 2 on which Rahu works is Rahu pushes towards extremes. There is no moderation with Rahu, either massive success or catastrophic collapse, often both sequentially. And Rahu always tests ethics, which I just mentioned, that wherever Rahu sits, shortcut appear, moral compromises arise, temptation to bypass dharma increases. Now friends, let's try to understand Rahu's conjunction with other planets, and let's talk in the lines of the future karma. So Rahu conjunct with Sun can be seen as ego karma and false authority. Like the general core theme with this conjunction is of identity distortion and hunger for recognition, which generally manifest through inflated ego or deep insecurity. This could be desire to dominate systems, governments, or hierarchies. Now this could happen in any way, like you could be involved in tax evasion, you could be like hijacking, or like kind of the way hackers they hack the system and then they ask for the ransom. Or this could be that you are in the top leadership, but even after that you are not contented, you still want to acquire more power. And this could, like the way I mentioned, fame obsession, power politics, authority without inner legitimacy. Now comes the question that when we talk about the future karma, so all of this manifestation will lead to like rise through unconventional or controversial path, sudden falls due to ego blindness, public image scandals if ethics are weak. And the spiritual lesson with this conjunction is true authority comes from inner alignment, not external validation. Now let's say, for example, if you have to understand the conjunction of Rahu with Moon, which talks about the psychological karma and emotional addiction. So friends, the core theme of this combination is mind hijacked by illusion, which generally manifest through anxiety, mood swing, paranoia, addictive emotional patterns, trauma looping, unresolved past life fears, or hypersensitivity to public opinion. And the future karma could be lives centered around mass influence, media, crowds, emotional instability until awareness matures. And the spiritual lesson which I can give it to you is you must observe the mind, never obey it. So always look at it in the third person, witness it. Now let's say, for example, if you have Rahu and Mars being conjunct in your chart, that will talk about violence, drive, and survival karma. Like the core theme is going to be unchecked ambition and aggression, which could manifest through extreme competitiveness, risk-taking accidents, impulsive actions, desire to conquer, dominate, destroy obstacles, and which will like create the future karma of leadership in conflict zones, defense, engineering, or surgery, karma through bloodshed or physical struggle if unconscious. And friends, the spiritual lesson is like transform rage into disciplined tapas, austerity. Now let's say, for example, if Rahu is conjunct with Mercury, which will talk about intellectual manipulation karma, like the core theme is going to be cleverness without conscience, like manifestation will happen through, like you might have a brilliant speech, but it might be deceptive. You might be a master of lies, propaganda, data manipulation. Hackers, marketers, spies, and strategists are seen as a manifestation of the combined energy of Rahu and Mercury, which will create the karma of like wealth through communication, tech, media, mental burnout, nervous disorder if ethics ignored. And friends, the spiritual lesson is wisdom is not information, it is truth applied. Now, let's say, for example, if you have Rahu and Jupiter conjunction in your chart, which can be seen as the corruption of wisdom, and the core theme is going to be belief system distortion, which will manifest through false guru, cult leaders, spiritual materialism, philosophical arrogance, teaching without realization. And the future karma could be, see, it can give you massive following or public exposure, and there might be rise and fall in religious or ideological spheres. And the spiritual lesson for you is live the teaching before preaching it. Now friends, those who have Rahu and Venus conjunction, which can be seen as like desire, combination of pleasure and relationship karma. See friends, the core theme with this combination is of insatiable desire, like which will manifest in the form of obsessive relationship, sexual addiction, or taboo attraction. See, this can actually give you fame through beauty, art, or career in the glamour industry, but it always destabilizes the relationship. I have seen like people who have Rahu Venus conjunct, their relationship tend to remain very unstable. Now, the future karma could be wealth via luxury, entertainment, fashion, or this could be emotional emptiness despite pleasure. The spiritual lesson is love is not possession, it is presence. Friends, if you have Rahu and Saturn conjunction in your chart, which will talk about the karmic overdrive, like the core theme is of fear driven ambition, which could manifest through ruthless discipline, chronic stress, obsession with control, status, and survival, which could create the future karma of extreme rise after long suffering, heavy karmic debts if power abused. And the spiritual lesson is of surrender softens karma faster than control. So friends, like the way whenever it comes down to understanding in which dignity Rahu's energy is working, or many people ask this question, why Rahu hurts spiritual seekers more? So the spiritual seekers suffer because ego dissolves before wisdom stabilizes. Desire is suppressed instead of understood. Detachment is forced, not matured. So Rahu does not want escape. It wants integration of consciousness into the world. Avoiding Rahu is like repeating it then in the next life. So friends, the module, like if I were to give it to you for mastering Rahu, it is about, first of all, strengthening Rahu's dispositor, because Rahu's dispositor will decide whether you will be a victim of Rahu's illusion or whether you will be gifted with Rahu's intelligence. It will decide whether you will be a victim of addiction or you will have a mastery over there. The conscious desire mapping is very important, friends. Ask, like if you have to master Rahu, ask, what am I obsessed with? What void or emptiness am I trying to fill? Awareness weakens Rahu immediately. Sublimation, friends, not suppression. It means Rahu hates denial. It responds to refinement of desire. And see, the way we say that, like a dignified Saturn and Jupiter can tame, can control the energy of Rahu, because it's the discipline of Saturn and ethics of Jupiter. So this combination civilizes Rahu. And friends, we generally say, like the final synthesis, if I were to give it to you, Rahu gives you what you desire until desire exhausts itself and wisdom finally arises. Rahu is not your enemy. Rahu is your unfinished chapter. Master it consciously or repeat it unconsciously, then in another life. So friends, see, always check. There is no shortcut. Always check dispositor of Rahu. This decides redemption or ruin. House placement. Which life domain is hijacked? Dasha running, because obviously for Rahu to be active, unless and until Rahu is not your moon nakshatra, like your moon nakshatra is not Adra, Swati, Sadbisha, but I would say that the running Dasha also give you a vital information. For example, if your natal moon is afflicted, moon is active in the Dasha, moon is in the nakshatra of the Rahu, then there is a overlap happening where Rahu has a tight grip over your life, over your thoughts. So Dasha running is very important because this will tell about whether the energy of the Rahu is dormant or it is indicating explosive karma. Navamsa strength, because it will tell about the inner maturity versus the outer chaos of Rahu. And the aspects of Jupiter and Saturn, which we discussed, because it is about the grace versus punishment. I always say, like the Rahu's energy gets decoded this way only, that is grace making this person outrun his circumstances or outgrow his prevailing circumstances, rise, grow beyond his perceived capabilities. So that could be a case that Jupiter is gifting this person, like the way what is happening right now in the transit. Jupiter from the Gemini is giving its aspect to Rahu being strengthened in the Aquarius. Or let's say, for example, if a person is misutilizing the energy of Rahu, then the punishment generally comes from the Saturn. So friends, all what I can say is that Rahu does not destroy the planets, it tests the consciousness. If awareness is low, Rahu becomes like a poison. And if the awareness is high, Rahu becomes the quantum fuel for evolution. And friends, when we talk about, like for example, like why some natives driven by Rahu become like icons and other collapse. Like there is this singer Honey Singh from India. He has also talked about a lot many times, like in his podcast and all, that there was a time when he was enjoying experiencing the peak of fame because of his musical talents. And then he also talked about his mental health, like how his mind in any given point of time was bombarded with multiple thoughts. So that could be a domain or a typical testimony of the way the energy of Rahu works. So friends, now comes the question that why some Rahu natives become icons and other collapse. So the simple explanation is that the difference is not Rahu, because it is the vessel. So the very first truth is that, which you have to understand while decoding Rahu's conjunction, is Rahu never decides success or failure. Rahu only decides intensity. Rahu is like a multiplier, not a benefic or malefic. A weak vessel and Rahu, it means a car with strong engine capacity but being driven by a weak driver is heading for collapse. But a strong vessel and a dignified strong Rahu can actually make a person icon or a legend or a disruptor. So the real question is not that is Rahu strong. The real question is, can the chart, mind and soul contain Rahu's voltage or not? So friends, in a way, Rahu is a pressure test, not a reward system. Rahu behaves like high voltage electricity. In a poorly wired system, fire, short circuit, destruction is the ultimate outcome. You would have heard all those stories where someone won the lottery and immediately after that they deviated from their path, and ultimately the money which they won became a reason for their fall. In so many of the cases where people have usurped or amassed like dirty money in their houses, and their house gets robbed and they get killed. I mean to say, in a poorly wired system, which can be seen as the overall strength of the chart, and with a strong Rahu, it's like it will only lead towards short circuit, fire or destruction. But in a well designed system with a strong Rahu, which will lead to power, illumination and revolution. So the difference lies in 4 stabilizing factors. The factor 1 is the strength of the dispositor. It is non-negotiable, especially with Rahu and Ketu. Rahu is helpless without its dispositor. The icon makers, you will see that dispositor is going to be strong by sign, dignity or house. Ethical planets like Jupiter with grace and Saturn, fear of the consequences of your action, will be guiding Rahu. Dispositor connected to trines or kendras, and the result is going to be Rahu's hunger gets direction, desire becomes mission, obsession becomes mastery, and the combination ingredient for the collapse could be dispositor is going to be weak, afflicted, or delusional, or dispositor involved in the 6th house, 8th house, 12th house chaos, sitting in these houses, no moral or structural anchor. Because while dealing with Rahu always creates that temptation. It has been narrated by many advanced Kundalini practitioner as well. Like right before, when they are about to have and experience that illumination of wisdom, the universe or the nature test their ethics. So if a person who does not have a strong ethics, moral ground, Rahu can actually destroy you. So, and this generally, the ingredient for the collapse maker ultimately eventually result in Rahu becomes addiction without intelligence, rise happens fast and collapse happens faster. The rule is judge Rahu by its dispositor more than by Rahu itself. Now friends, the next factor is Saturn's presence, because Rahu with a well-guided, well-placed Saturn is a combination of patience, structure, capacity to endure delay, willingness to suffer for long-term results, and these natives rise slowly, last long, become institutions, not sensations. And Rahu without Saturn is a chief ingredient of collapse, like a shortcut mentality, impatience, moral bypassing, addiction to fast result, and fame becomes, or like fame comes before maturity, power arrives before wisdom, and collapse becomes inevitable. So the truth is, Saturn does not block Rahu, Saturn civilizes Rahu. Friends, another factor is like Jupiter's influence. I've been repeatedly saying that because it is responsible for seeing the ethics and the meaning. Like Rahu and Jupiter, well placed Jupiter, is responsible for giving that vision, philosophy, ethics, meaning driven ambition. These natives become thought leaders, shape belief systems, influence generations. And Rahu with a very afflicted Jupiter is responsible for the cult leaders, false gurus, ideological extremism, teaching without realization, and like we generally say, like loss of credibility, sudden downfall, or public exposure. So the rule is Jupiter must guide Rahu, not inflate it. And friends, another factor, like I would say, moon's stability is also equally important, because that will tell about the psychological capacity, because a stable moon with a strong pakshbal, with a strong strengthened Rahu, can actually create icons like emotional regulation, ability to handle fame, pressure, attention, grounded inner life. But let's say, for example, Rahu is strong, but in the chart, a moon is afflicted. So this is a typical scenario or ingredient for collapse, which will lead to anxiety, paranoia, addiction, self-sabotaging behavior. So many collapses are not karmic punishment, friends. They are like psychological overload. The reality is Rahu destroy the minds before it destroy the career. So like sometimes the fast car which you are trying to buy, universe is not giving it to you because you might not be able to handle the speed. So the most misunderstood truth, friends, which I have been saying over here in this video is Rahu gives success before inner maturity. Icons survive because they mature after success, and the collapsers fall because success comes before maturity. Ego expands faster than awareness. Rahu tests this exact sequence. And friends, like I would say that when we talk about people who become like icons and all, like who become like celebrities and all, world famous, globally relevant and all, you will see that in their D1 chart, you will see that like it will show the visibility, show the reach, and show the worldly rise. The D9 chart will show the inner stability. I'm talking purely from Rahu's perspective. D9 chart will show the inner stability. It will show the character under the pressure, and it will show the marriage, ethics, and self-regulation. So many collapses occur when D1 Rahu is powerful, but D9 is weak or fractured. And D20 chart, friends, because the Vim Samsa chart will show the spiritual immunity, shows ability to handle ego dissolution. And friends, the rule for the advanced students is icons have Rahu strong in the D1 but stable in D9 and D20. So now comes the question that why Rahu natives repeat the rise and fall cycles. So because the soul has not yet learned, like desire is not always the fulfillment, and power is not always peace, and fame does not describe your identity. Rahu repeats until consciousness catches up. So friends, all what I can say in this line is that in this context of like who Rahu makes like icon and which all people collapse, are not able to handle that power, that energy, that fame. So Rahu does not destroy people. Rahu exposes the part of the self that is not yet integrated. If ego is unconscious, it will lead to collapse. If ego is observed, it will lead to mastery. And if ego is surrendered, it will lead to transcendence. So the simple truth is, Rahu makes icon out of those who can hold power without losing awareness, and collapses those who mistake power for identity. So okay friends, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. For further more updates and notification on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Instagram account. Dhanyawad.